I'm here for this podcast because I don't know exactly as of this moment whether the Maryland Renaissance Festival has been canceled or if it's going to go on with safety measures in place. But that's the fair that I've been working for many, many years. It's the fair I love. It's my home fair. And we're just waiting to hear whether they're going to happen. And I hope they are, but we'll see. So I'm just going to play some tunes. I'm with the Piper Jones Band. My name is E.J. Jones. And I'm going to play you the tunes that I would normally play in Revel Grove. That's the name of the Ren Fair, the Maryland Ren Fair site. I would normally play these tunes at the end of the day at the Boar's Head Pub. And I would show people dances, and we would have some spontaneous dancing and some carrying on, as I'm sure everyone's familiar with who watches this podcast. So here goes. A set of tunes called The Witch of the Westmoreland, written by Archie Fisher, into some Breton Ron Ludiac dances. It's very, very old. It's called the Tortillon, and a lot of people out there know the dance to it, and sometimes people just dance it spontaneously. I'll go into a tune after that called the Morantons, and then a tune that's a very old tune, a Renaissance tune, but it's played in some Celtic bands. It's called Brawley Coast, or the Scottish Brawl. Scottish Brawl, that tune. So normally at this point in the show, I would invite the entire audience to come up as couples, and I would show them a dance called the Circassion. It's a dance that I learned at the Festival Interceltic in Lorient, France, back in 1997. I'm told it's not a traditional Breton dance, but it's a dance that I learned 25 years ago in Brittany, and it's done hundreds of people at a time, sometimes in Brittany. So it's as Breton as that. So it's a dance that people can pick up pretty quickly, and normally I would show people, but I don't have any volunteers right now, and I'm not sure if those people walking their dog want to be pulled into this. So I'll just say, if you've been to our show at the Boar's Head at the Maryland Renaissance Festival, you know the dance, and if you don't know it, please come at the first opportunity. This is the tune we play. It's a tune I learned from my friend Richard Keane. It's called Petco. People in couples dancing in kind of a line where they're all following each other, and it goes back and forth and they turn, and it's a beautiful dance to see. The next thing that we normally do is a dance called the andro. It means the turn. It is a Breton dance, and what you do for this dance is you get everybody together, you link arms, and you dance in one spot of ground, because in the old days, if you wanted to build a house, you would need everybody together. You'd throw a big party the night before, and you dance on the same spot of ground, stomp down the dirt, so the next morning you could start building your barn or your house or what have you. So these are some tunes that Francis and I wrote together. We named them after Revel Grove, the name of our festival. And so they're the turns through Revel Grove. expect at that point in the show would be about probably 50 people, all dancing, linked arms, dancing around the stage, in the aisles, all in one line that kind of snakes back on itself. And it's a very beautiful scene to see. And then it would just be a big party. Rose petals would be falling through the air, and people would be dancing, and we close the day like that. So I'll close this with you like that and say, I hope everybody's hanging in there, and we'll meet again soon, my friends. Hopefully at the Maryland Renaissance Festival, but in due course. Gordon Duncan tunes. 1, 2, 3. Head last year, and hopefully again this year. And it's been a pleasure playing for everybody. So, thanks.
It's D&D, it's D&D, we all agree to play some D&D. That means role-playing, fighting and slaying, solving puzzles, maybe it's just me. But you guys won't, no we won't, you guys just don't, no we don't, follow a single plotline through and through. I'm not complaining, but instead of gaming, you find the weirdest other things to do. There was adventure, but you guys wouldn't venture. Instead you said the mountains looked real nice. Middle of winter, you went to the hinterlands of permafrost and frozen ice. You hid from every danger, you wizard, rogue, and ranger, and found the perfect valley for your quest. In the lands of no man, you guys built a snowman and said that this adventure was the best. It's D&D, it's D&D. That's your part, the little echo. It's D&D, it's D&D. We all agree to play some D&D. That means role-playing, fighting and slaying, solving puzzles, maybe it's just me. But you guys won't, no we won't. That's your part, the no we won't. You guys just don't, no we don't, follow a single plotline through and through. I'm not complaining, but instead of gaming, you find the weirdest other things to do. You went into a town with intrigue all around. There were 15 detailed NPCs you met. Rumors they told you, so much ado. Instead you interviewed a pastry chef. There was a bake sale, the chef had a bake sale, not to mention a casserole contest. You guys spent 4 hours mixing eggs and flour and said that this adventure was the best. It's D&D, it's D&D, it's D&D, it's D&D. We all agree to play some D&D. That means role-playing, fighting and slaying, solving puzzles, maybe it's just me. But you guys won't, no we won't, you guys just don't, no we don't, follow a single plotline through and through. I'm not complaining, but instead of gaming, you find the weirdest other things to do. You guys must like shopping, and everywhere I'm dropping hints from every merchant and shopkeep. But you'd rather haggle, bargain and finagle about the price to buy a pair of sheep. Then you bought a farm, cause you hated doing harm to monsters you encountered on your quest. It's Dungeons and Dragons, but you made it farms and wagons and said that this adventure was the best. It's D&D, it's D&D, it's D&D, it's D&D. We all agree to play some D&D. That means role-playing, fighting and slaying, solving puzzles, maybe it's just me. But you guys won't, no we won't, you guys just don't, no we don't, follow a single plotline through and through. I'm not complaining, but instead of gaming, you find the weirdest other things to do. such as one day we were adventuring, we found a pyramid. Inside were sarcophagi, we didn't fight, we hid. There were some mummies and a staff with a falcon head, and we stole it and were followed by undead. Our bard took that falcon staff like a drum major, he led us to Winterfell where they knew about undead. The town thought but a cosplay and some zombie costumes were made. Now it's Winterfell walkers and mummies on parade, 'cause we're on parade, a mummy parade. Marching in an undead line, the curse will never fade. Creed Jaffa, Hallelu Amon-Ra. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. We couldn't stop moving, to Mordor we would go. Some reading rainbow ring wraiths dropped their books and joined the show. They said they'd a good idea to Barnes and Noble, let's invade. Now it's the ring wraith readers, Winterfell walkers and mummies on parade. Now we're on parade, a mummy parade. Marching in an undead line, the curse will never fade. Creed Jaffa, and this is your part two. Allelu Amon-Ra. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. Then we apparated over to Azkaban. There were some dementors plagued the dungeons and the dragons. They bagged their polyhedrons and all, though all hope might fade. Now it's dice dementors, ring wraith readers, Winterfell walkers and mummies on parade. Now we're on parade, a mummy parade. Marching in an undead line, the curse will never fade. Creed Jaffa, Allelu Amon-Ra. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. Transylvania, Ravensloft, Bonton, New Orleans, Seattle. Those Nosferatu folks, they didn't want to battle. They grabbed their vape pens and we assured them we'd find shade. Now it's vampire vapors, dice dementors, ring wraith readers, Winterfell walkers and mummies on parade. We're on parade, a mummy parade. Marching in an undead line, their curse will never fade. Creed Jaffa, here we go. Allelu Amon-Ra. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. We boarded then our starship to the Delta Quadrant fine. There we met some Borg and some Daleks in due time. One group said assimilate, the other exterminate. Now it's space invaders, vampire vapors, dice dementors, ring wraith readers, Winterfell walkers and mummies on parade. Now we're on parade, a mummy parade. Marching in an undead line, their curse will never fade. Creed Jaffa, Allelu Amon-Ra. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. Then Indianapolis, we thought we all would roll, play some games. There was some convention, we were told. At Gen Con we arrived and for the costume contest stayed. Now it's Gen Con gamers, space invaders, vampire vapors, dice dementors, ring wraith readers, Winterfell walkers and mummies on parade. We're on parade, a mummy parade. Marching in an undead line, their curse will never fade. Creed Jaffa, Allelu Amon-Ra. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. They follow us, they're mummies on parade. Hi everybody, I'm Dan the Bard. Thanks for taking time out of your day to listen to me. I hope you're having a good one. We just finished a wonderful string of shows at Gen Con, having a great time, and I'm going to sing you some of my most requested songs from Gen Con. This one's called The Drunken Gnome Illusionist. Tell you about a story that'll give you much elation, about a little gnome who never used an evocation, never cast a necromantic spell to save his life, and never ever abjuration. For he was a gnome illusionist from old edition 2, adventuring for years and years. What's a gnome to do? Well, he settled in a town and he took for him a wife, where the whiskey was distilled and ale was brewed. And he drank the whiskey down every day and every night, singing at the tavern till the early morning light. Sun come at dawn, and he gave his wife a fright, casting random spells from off his list. Oh, a glamour on a ball and a force phantasmal, blurry mirror images, he drove her up the wall. And he always had a little flask of whiskey in his fist, the drunken gnome illusionist. out, he heard the people shout, "Oh, the brewery's been destroyed, there'll be no more ale or stout." And also the distillery where all the whiskey's made. The gnome illusionist began to pout. "Oh, if I ever find the beast what took me whiskey drink, I'll find him and I'll fight him, for he's pushed me to the brink." His wife, she laughed and said, "Now my drunken gnome parades, now you'll be a sober gnome, I think." "No, I won't," says he, as he started and he sought, dusting off spell books at all but time forgot. He realized that he was higher level than he thought, recalling all the spells that he had missed. Improved invisibility and monster shadowy, permanent and powerful illusions, vacancy. And he studied with a little flask of whiskey in his fist, the drunken gnome illusionist. Followed forth the trail of every broken brewery wagon, and met some whiskey dealers who were standing and a-bragging. They said they saw what broke the whiskey still the other night. "'Tis no lie, we tell you 'twas a dragon."
Was it black? Was it red? Was it green or white or blue?
"We couldn't really tell, but it took a cask or two. It's living in a cave down by the river out of sight. What's a drunken gnome like you a gonna do?" The drunken gnome illusionist, he headed to the cave, found some dead adventurers who tried to be so brave. Torn and mangled bodies laid upon an open grave, a slaughter that would marvel even Drizzt. For their swords and their shields and their armor was the best. Their wizard had a fireball and telekinesis, but no one had a little flask of whiskey in his fist like the drunken gnome illusionist. Drunken gnome illusionist had almost sobered up. He held aloft his whiskey and he toasted bottoms up. Then he heard a voice from high above and sadly asked, "Would you like to share? I've got a cup." Well, the dragon wasn't blue or black or red or green or white, silver, copper, bronze, brass, or gold as morning light. 'Twas an amber-colored dragon, just like whiskey from a flask. "I'd rather share a drink than have a fight." And the whiskey dragon smiled as they chat a drink or two. The drunken gnome illusionist, he knew just what to do. With permanent illusions, made the dragon's lair anew, fulfilled the whiskey dragon's lifelong wish. Now the cavern was a tavern where the whiskey air would flow. The dragon had a flagon and the town would always know. He saved them with a little flask of whiskey in his fist, the drunken gnome illusionist. The drunken gnome illusionist. His wife was really, really pissed. He's the drunken gnome illusionist. Thanks, everybody, but we're not done yet. It's time to be serious. Those songs were quite cute, but this is a song that's very spiritual in nature. This is a song about reincarnation. Have you hugged an owl bear today? Has an owl bear hugged you? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? As I went to walking one morning in August through dark and perilous woods, to a sun-dappled grove I casually did rove, and there an owl bear stood. Its fine fur and feathers were chestnut and tan. Its beak was as yellow as hay. It stood 10 foot 2 and then said, "Hoo, hoo." 'Cause that's all that owl bears say. Have you hugged an owl bear today? Has an owl bear hugged you? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? The owl bear saw me and charged like an owl bear. I offered him rations of cheddar. He hugged me instead and bit off my head. But as you can see, I got better. He ripped off my arms with a sickening swah! Tore off my legs at the femur. A druid came by and said, "My oh my, I'll have to deal with this later." Have you hugged an owl bear today? Has an owl bear hugged you? Have you felt it speak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? But this isn't a song about owl bears. This is a song about reincarnation. When I awoke, the druid said, "Son, the owl bear gave ye a killin'. But here's the ting, now you're a halfling. We'll try again in the morning." And the owl bear gave me a hug every day, and reincarnated was I. But recycling your soul can soon take its toll. My mind sometimes wanders. Have you hugged an owl bear today? Has an owl bear hugged you? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? I have been reincarnated so much, I should have signed the DNR. Do not reincarnate. I've been a gnu, a gnoll, a gnome, a bear and a bugbear. I once was a tree, and a ranger axed me into some tables and chairs. I once was an elf, but now I'm myself, singing a song about owl bears. Have you hugged an owl bear today? Has an owl bear hugged you? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? This is called a paladin howl. Listen, my friends, put down your drinks. This tale that I do tell, I speak of a knight of holy light, a paladin in hell. Shield of silver and armor of gold, a heart so noble and true. He fought to save this in this town. His name was Sir Edwin Ardu. Sir Edwin Ardu bore locks of gold and dyes of platinum gleamed. He fought for the young and innocent and punished those who sinned. He battled undead and dragons, vile demons, devils, and more. But the fiercest of his enemies was a pit fiend known as Balthor. Balthor was crimson-tailed and bore wings all wicked black, a tail so strong with poison wrong, a torturous whipping crack. One day he went to Edwin's town and slaughtered all that dwelled, and so Sir Edwin vengeance sought a paladin in hell. Edwin then sought Balthor's lair upon 9 plains of fire, whipping off heads of devils who dared to halt his quest of ire. Bearded, barbed, and horned, and chained, and dicey devils fell, making his way to Balthor's tower, a paladin in hell. Balthor stood upon his tower, upon a mountain tall. Edwin's sword, silver and bright, celestial power did call. He spurred his steed and plunged a blade deep in the tower's base. The mortar of hellstone sundered, so the tower collapsed to waste. Balthor burst through rubble and tire and cracked his whip and tail. Sir Edwin's shield, though silver and bright, shattered against the assail. The battle unfolded for 3 full days, his blade risked claws and spells, till Balthor cried, "Curse you, foul knight, ye paladin in hell!" Balthor tore a rift in space, a portal of light did appear, revealing this town, the street, the sin, and folks drinking their beer. The pit fiend left and made his move, innocent folks to kill, and slipped the rift into our town to challenge Edwin's will. But Edwin reached out Balthor to catch, the red tail upon his arm furled. Devil and knight locked in a fight between 2 different worlds. The pit fiend then, the paladin then did pledge his soul to hold Balthor at bay, and the portal collapsed with both of them trapped in a clutch of death to this day. So now let us raise a tankard or glass and toast Sir Edwin Ardu. He fought for the young and innocent, defending just us few. Sir Edwin Ardu is the man of the hour, alas, we knew him well. He fought for us all with heart and steel, the paladin in hell.
Well, I'd like to thank you all again for joining me today. You'll see behind me, this is my other side. This is my Bard Camp sign, because we joke around at the Bristol Renaissance Fair when we're backstage that that's Bard Camp, where the bards hang out. So thank you for all you Ren Fair musicians and all my fellow convention musicians and filkers out there. You can find me at danthebard.com. There is a Patreon site there, patreon.com/danbard. Because someone took Dan the Bard. They're not using it, but anyway. And then I've also got some wonderful stuff going on. If you can tip me at PayPal and Venmo or whatever. So just check that out. And lots more coming for me these days. I have been broadcasting from this, my bag of holding now, for several months, from underneath the Fountainside stage at the Bristol Renaissance Fair. It was the first weekend I was ready to play, and the orcs of Clan Covidia attacked. I've been here ever since, singing songs and broadcasting live. So what I'd like to do for you now is end with a tribute to Bard Camp.
This one time at Bard Camp, where all the bards do go. This one time at Bard Camp, where the lutenist pluck and the flutenist blow. Tunes while the drums go rat-a-tat-tat. Be sharp, be natural, never be flat. Charisma's your highest stat at the camp where the bards all go. When you're at Bard Camp, we sing this very song. Just like at Bard Camp, now you're all +1. This one time at Bard Camp, we thought it'd be so amazing to spend the whole weekend playing only in the Dorian mode, which is kind of like a minor key, but with a raised 6, and our professors didn't like it very much because it messed up this music theory they were trying to teach us. And my one friend, his name was Presto Allegro. He was so hyperactive that he actually only played in the Hyper Dorian mode. He wouldn't calm down, so they brought in some druids, and they mixed up some herbs and methamphetamines, and now he only plays in the Ritalin mode. This one time at Bard Camp, where all the bars do go. This one time at Bard Camp, where the lutenist pluck and the flutenist blow. Tunes while the drums go rat-a-tat-tat. Be sharp, be natural, never be flat. Charisma's your highest stat at the camp where the bards all go. When you're at Bard Camp, we sing this very song. Just like at Bard Camp, now you're all +1. Okay, so this one time at Bard Camp, we had these elven exchange students come over, and elves are super friendly, and they know a lot about music and stuff, but they have much different bathing procedures than humans. They don't take baths or showers, but they take off all their clothes and they scrub fruit off their naked bodies. Well, we didn't have any fruit bathing facilities, so we took them to the cafeteria, and the elves, they have no shame. They just took off all their clothes right there and started rubbing themselves in tangerines and nectarines and papaya and passion fruit and goji berries. And anyway, this day the apiary broke and a bunch of bees got loose, and they flew into the cafeteria, and this one elf, he wouldn't calm down. A bee landed right on his forehead, so we pinned him to the ground, took his lute, smashed him in the face, and that's how we came up with B flat. This one time at Bard Camp, where all the bards do go. This one time at Bard Camp, where the lutenist pluck and the flutenist blow. Tunes while the drums go rat-a-tat-tat. Be sharp, be natural, never be flat. Charisma's your highest stat at the camp where the bards all go. When you're at Bard Camp, we sing this very song. Just like at Bard Camp, now you're all +1. Okay, so this one time at Bard Camp, we were all hanging out at the Bard Camp pub, and a C, an E flat, and a G walked in. We're like, that's weird. And the bartender was like, hey, you guys can't be here. We don't serve minors. So the E flat left, and the C and the G had a fifth between them. But after a few drinks, the fifth had become diminished, and the G was out flat. And F tried to come in and augment the situation, but wasn't nearly sharp enough. And then a D came in and said, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll just be a major second. The bartender noticed there was an A at the bar. He became suspicious that this relative of C could be a minor, but before he could do anything, he noticed that there was a B flat hanging out at the other end of the bar, and he says, hey, B flat, get out of here. You're the 7th minor we found in here tonight. Well, the E flat, not to be outdone, went and got a 3-piece suit and some shiny shoes and came back in, and the bartender says, wow, you're looking sharp tonight. This could be a major development. This turned out to be the case as the E flat took off all his clothes and stood there au natural. Well, the C, upon sobering up, realized to his dismay that he was under arrest for contributing to the diminution of a minor. He was sentenced to 10 years of DS without coda at an upscale correctional facility. However, upon appeal, the C was found innocent of all wrongdoing. However, accidental in all accusations the contrary are based faceless. This one time at Bard Camp, where all the bards do go. This one time at Bard Camp, where the lutenist pluck and the flutenist blow. Tunes while the drums go rat-a-tat-tat. Be sharp, be natural, never be flat. Charisma's your highest stat at the camp where the bards will go. When you're at Bard Camp, we sing this very song. Just like at Bard Camp, now you're all +1. And if you're at Bard Camp and tip me a buck or two, then just like at Bard Camp, then you'll be +2. And if you're at Bard Camp and buy a CD, I have CDs, and just like at Bard Camp, then you'll be +3. And if you're at Bard Camp, check me out on Spotify. Then just like at Bard Camp, then you'll be +5. Thanks, everybody. I'm Dan the Bard. Check out danthebard.com. May all your hits be crits, and have a great, great August. Yay! Bye!